Hey, everybody. Welcome to our Facebook Live party. I'm so excited to get this started. My name is Charlotte. We're going to be talking a lot about homeschooling and encouragement today. I've got two wonderful ladies with me, Carolyn and Crystal. And I'm just getting to know them. So I want to hear where you guys are from. Carolyn, where are you from and how long have you been homeschooling?
Sure. So I live in the Pacific Northwest of Canada, actually. So I am on the coast of West Coast Canada. I am about an hour outside of Vancouver on a little acreage out in the valley, living on a mountain, literally a mountain. It's called Iron Mountain. I have 3 children. They are almost 10, just turned 8 and 5. So I've been homeschooling for 6 years now.
Nice. Wow. Okay. You have little kids and you live on a mountain. That's awesome.
It sounds lovely and it is, don't get me wrong, but it does come with its own issues. Like, because we live on an iron mountain, we have a lot of iron in our water.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. So do you have to filter it?
We have a crazy filter system. When we first moved in, it stained all my nice white dishes yellow, my bathtub yellow, but there's just some kinks you have to work out when you're living on Iron Mountain.
That's crazy. I really thought Iron Mountain because there's iron there. Oh, that's funny. Crystal, how are you tonight?
Doing well, thank you. Excited to be here.
I'm excited to be here too. So where are you at and how many children do you have?
I currently live in Iowa. My husband's an active duty Army chaplain, and so we were just recently stationed in this area. I've got 5 kids altogether, graduated 3, and have my 2 youngest that are in high school now, and started homeschooling in the year 2000, and I'm continuing the homeschool journey with my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, and you can read about our story in the summer magazine of the old schoolhouse.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
You're almost there, 2 in high school. You're almost done, but then you have your grandchild, right?
That's okay. She's worth it. But we're homeschooling when we started homeschooling her, it was because of COVID, the whole pandemic. So we started, my husband suggested that could I help homeschool her long distance because she was 1,000 miles away, over 1,000 miles away. Well, now we're only about 500 miles away. But it's neat what technology is now that we didn't have in the year 2000, that I would be able to do that. And schoolhouseteacherscom is great too, because that's something that she can use on her end that I can control on this end, and give her assignments, and she's getting quality curriculum. So
that's great.
So neat to hear. I'm actually nearing the end of my homeschooling journey, which is crazy. So we have 4 children. We live in Northern California, and our oldest is married on his own and is going to have our first grandchild next month.
Oh, congratulations.
You are
so excited
to be a grandma.
I was going to say the same thing. There is no way you look old enough to be a grandma.
Oh, you guys are so I'm so excited. So, and homeschooling might be in the future of that. I don't know. But then we have 2 daughters at junior college, and then I've just got 1. So in high school, so I count from when they were born. So this is my 24th year of homeschooling.
Wow. I don't even want to admit. So from birth, 29. So because my oldest turned my age this year. Because I'm 29 and holding for a few decades now. So we're now the same age.
You got me.
So I'm the baby. 6 years of homeschooling is usually one's like, 6 years, you've been doing it a long time. Nothing compared to you ladies.
Oh, it's such a journey, and it was so worth it. I'm so thankful that we were able to do it. So I just love homeschooling, and the relationship you can build with your kids, and now Crystal with your grandchildren, it's priceless. It's so priceless. So
that's so cool.
Yeah. So we have got some fun giveaways tonight for our listeners. I'm going to really, really briefly explain the ones that we've got coming up. We have a subscription to CTC Math, which is a self-paced online math program. We also have a product from Homeschool in the Woods. And then we have a game from Byron's Games. Another great product is a pack called Considering Homeschooling for those of you that are new to homeschooling. And then we have a year's membership to schoolhouseteacherscom. So I'll be talking about those later on. To enter our giveaway, we do ask that you kind of talk with us in the comments, and then tomorrow we'll tag you guys, and we ask that you do contact us by this Sunday to get information on how to get your giveaway. So
say hi, everybody. Say
yes,
hi.
Charlotte,
I am
several congrats in the comments too.
Yes, Homeschooling in the Woods is such a fun company. They have so many great things, and we've used them over the years in our homeschooling. So I'm super excited that they're.
You're going to have to fill me in on that because I don't know that one. I'm not familiar.
Oh, Carolyn, when we get there, it's a really great company. We've enjoyed it so much. So this is the Homeschool Review Crew Facebook party. So I just want to really quickly tell you guys what the crew is, because I know Carolyn and Crystal, you guys are not on our crew, and I want to tell you what we do. So what we do is we write product reviews. And as you know, homeschooling has completely exploded. And we can help those homeschoolers looking for products or that are new to homeschooling find what they need. So our reviewers receive a product, and then we use that product over a period of time. And then the reviewers write about it and post it on social media, Facebook, YouTube, or their blog. And this really does help homeschoolers. Even before I joined the crew, I would go to the Review Crew website to find reviews because they used it like in the trenches, so you could understand the product better. We also help companies that want their products in the hands of homeschoolers, and then even a company that might be breaking into the market. And then being on our team is really neat too, because you get to keep the product that you review. And we also have a private forum where we encourage one another. So it's just benefiting so many different groups of people. So, and for those of you that are here with us tonight, we are actually, are accepting applications for the crew. And we do ask that you are actively homeschooling and that you have a public social media page and you're willing to write and use the products. It's super, super fun. So, and I think that's going to hopefully come up in our comments, the link to it, to our application. So, and this is again why we're here for our fun blog hop, which we have in August. We call it the Not Back to School blog hop.
Because we're not going back.
We ain't going back. No, we're at home where we belong. Exactly. So every Saturday in the month of August, our team is going to be writing about a plethora of topics about how you start your school year, maybe incentives that you use. And we'll even spend some time talking about last minute homeschooling ideas and even the life in a day of a homeschooler, which when I first started homeschooling, I loved reading people's accounts of just their day. It was so encouraging to me. So I don't know about you guys.
And it's funny how different everyone's days are. Like, that's the thing with homeschooling. Everyone does it so different that it's really interesting to see how different everyone's days are. Like, some people like me, we do our homeschooling at like 7:30 in the morning, and other people don't start until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, right? So
exactly. So do you guys do year round or do you take breaks?
We do year round. So the reason we do year round is the first year I started homeschooling, we did like a traditional take the summer off, and my kid got so bored after 1 month of not doing anything. I was like, that's it. We're just going to do full year, and then we just take breaks whenever we feel like taking breaks. So it just works really well for us. So we're doing school right now. Maybe in a couple of weeks we'll take a break. I don't know. We just play by ear.
We tend to go with the school calendar somewhat, but that's for my own accountability purposes. But, like you, I had started way back when I started homeschooling. All I had ever known was the school system, and a desk and, the back then it was chalkboard and all that fun stuff. And so I had my classroom set up for my kids, and we did the whole day. I followed the calendar to a T. Now it's a lot more loosely done. And you know what? When you were talking about the importance of these review blogs, I learned how to homeschool from blogs, because back then we had blogs, and it was still kind of in the new stages, but I would find homeschoolers and I would start following them. In fact, I've been blessed to be friends with some of them that, I followed way back when, and, we're Facebook friends and stuff now, which is really cool how that's changed over the years. But I learned how to homeschool. I had never really knew anything about homeschooling before that. And so it was through blogs. And then that's how I found curriculum. And, and then that's how I learned different methods of homeschooling, and that we didn't have to stick to the traditional style of school. And so these blogs are, I know from personal experience, are so important. Even now, I will go to the review crew if I'm looking at something and I see that there's a review on that, or, I Google it and go to a blog, because homeschool moms rock. They will tell you the truth. They will tell you exactly what they're thinking.
Oh, they do. I love and it's like the seasons of life for me, because in the beginning we definitely did year round, and now with my kids being older, we needed that break. I think it was Steve and Melissa Kapp said we need that break, and I totally get that. At least with the older kids, that gave us summers off, but that's what's the beauty of homeschooling, is that you can have that flexibility, and you have everyone doing different things, and so that's encouraging, because you're not the weird one. Well, homeschooling can be, we are the weird ones, but we're the good ones.
I'm proudly weird.
It's not as weird as it used to be. It's becoming more and more common.
Absolutely.
Well, most of the country was forced. Most of the world was forced last year to school at home. So, and I think a lot of parents are deciding, hey, maybe we want to keep our kids at home. They're safer at home.
Yes, it is such a wonderful place to be with your kids. Yeah. So when you guys start up, do you have traditions or things that you do to kind of make that first week of school or first day of school memorable?
Crystal, you go first.
Oh man, that's where Pinterest failure right here, because I've tried different things, and we just go with the flow. Because I would read on different people's blogs, or do this and do that, and I think, oh my, that would be so cool. And I'd plan these things out, and when my kids were little, something happened, and they wouldn't cooperate, or it was a bad day. And when you can't force the kids to enjoy to have in the Army we call it mandatory fun. Kids don't like mandatory fun. They make sure it's unfun at that point. So I try to take a first day of school picture, just something informal, and so that it pops up, later on, and we can look back over the years. But we really don't do anything special.
That's good, Patty.
I love that.
I think that's a great start.
I love that,
Patty. Play hooky. Yes. Oh, I would sometimes go to the dollar store and get little treats for them, but I was not the Pinterest mom that went crazy and decorated and all that. But I tried to just do something fun. And then, of course, a photo, because I knew if I didn't get that photo the first day, it wasn't going to happen. So, yeah.
I never first day of school and pics is in their PJs.
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
I love that idea. Oh, that's good. That's it. In your PJs, and
really we just never really done anything because we homeschool year round. But the thing for us is we travel. We try and travel a couple times a year. At least we did back in the good old days before all this happened. And so for us, it was like, well, guess what? All the kids are in school right now, and you're at Disney World. So that's your reward. There's no special kickoff, because in a month from now, you're going to be traveling while everyone else is doing school. So
right. That's the blessing of homeschooling, is we get to take advantage of, we can, instead of taking snow days, we can have sunny days and get out of the house and do something fun.
Exactly. And that's, again, the flexibility is it's such an advantage to just be like, hey, everybody else has to stick to that schedule, but we can go take a day off and go to the park because it's so beautiful outside. And that's such a blessing. Yeah. Well, when I know I'm coming up to our first giveaway, which makes me think year round, because the one thing we would do regardless was math. just keeping, I just hated it in September when we'd open those books and they'd be like, wait, what? 1 + 1 again? And so I just had, worksheets and stuff in the summertime. But this is our first giveaway. We're coming up on it, CTC Math, because it's a full year, guys. It's a online self-paced curriculum. The crew recently reviewed this and loved it. It ranges from kindergarten all the way to grade 12, including calculus. I love it that it's self-paced. My kids would, I can set as a teacher, like to get this percentage to move on, and they would need to do that and just keep working on the lesson. So they are going to give away a year subscription. So if you would like to be eligible for that, please comment on the chat. And there you can see we just put up the link to all of the homeschool reviews where we just recently reviewed CTC Math. So feel free to take a look at that. There's some really great information there about that product. So,
I'll be looking that up. That is something I struggle with even after all these years is math.
Oh, yes.
Me too.
Math phobia.
Me too.
Which is why I like online programs, because I feel like I have to teach a little bit less.
Exactly. Yeah. So homeschooling is amazing, but I know we all have our days. I know that I have definitely amazing days, but then I have super hard days. So where do you go when you need encouragement as a mom, when you're just like not doing it, when you're feeling like a failure? Do you guys have any places like just where you would go?
She's got the magazine. She's good to go.
Okay, y'all. I have to show you. I have saved these. I have them back to 2017.
Wow.
I love my magazines, and I'm still digging more out.
Crystal.
But I dug some out from our packing. So this is 2017. Wow. And I know I have some that go further back than that. Aren't they beautiful? I mean,
they're so beautiful. And
so beautiful.
The articles in there are so encouraging, so encouraging, and just seems sometimes to like hit me right between the eyes with something I needed to hear that month or that quarter. So I've been so encouraged by that magazine.
And you know what it is too about that magazine is, I mean, a lot of magazines you get these days at the supermarket or whatever, they're very light and fluffy, and there's not a lot of content in them. It's a lot of ads. That is not the case with this magazine. There is so much content that I keep it for the whole 3 months before my next one comes, because it takes me that long to read all those articles once or twice, because they're quality content.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It is not something you just you do this to find the article. You read that thing cover to cover, and I don't think there's a magazine out there that I do that with, where I truly go front to back reading every single page. Yeah, and we also, Mike and Beth Green, we have that online version, which is so convenient. Yes, the online version is awesome. Yeah. So
I love it. And you can get it in an app on your phone. And then I get a notification every time a new magazine is
uploaded. I didn't know that.
Get that app. I did not know.
Let me find my phone.
That's news to me.
And I've been following TOS since, oh my goodness, for years, before I ever started working here. It is amazing.
And then we have the link to the TOS magazine issues at the Old Schoolhouse website there on chat. I need to get this app because and it notifies you when things are added to it. That is huge. And just sitting at the doctor's office somewhere, being able to browse it super easy without lugging the magazine around. That's huge. Wow.
So Melissa said her homeschooling mama friends are what encourage her. And that's a big one for me, while Crystal finds the app there on her phone. having people I can chat with when I am frustrated, or when I'm having a good day, or when I'm stuck for curriculum, even all those kind of things. It is huge having other fellow homeschoolers you can chat to and bounce ideas off of and that kind of thing.
Wow, there it is. You can see all the pictures. Oh my goodness. That's wonderful. Okay, TOS apps. Okay, I'm doing that. That's a huge asset. Wow. Yeah, no, and moms, other moms, especially for me when I had younger kids, the older moms that could encourage me and go, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have these
They're
days.
a couple years ahead of you.
Exactly. Kind of calming your spirit. And then 2, getting into the word, Krista, that's so important too. Just be praying, maybe taking a day off, and, it's a reading day for the kids, but then it's a day where you're in the word and praying. That's so encouraging as well. Yes. Yeah. Another thing, and it's one of my projects as the business manager for the crew was to go over our website, and we're we have so many encouraging articles on there that I didn't know about. So that's at homeschoolreviewcrew.com. There's written by a lot of our crew members, former crew members, and just on almost anything, field trips, on what to do when you're discouraged, on what to do with older kids, what to do with preschoolers when you're teaching the older ones, all sorts of encouraging articles. And I was really, really amazed. There's hundreds of them on there. So
it's not just reviews.
No, it's not just reviews. There are, every week we try to get articles up there. And then of course that block hop we're having in August, which we're promoting today. There's so much encouraging stuff on that website. Yeah. So, and it's encouraging for new homeschoolers too, because this is a crazy world that if you've never been introduced to it, it's really overwhelming in the beginning. And so you've got the magazine, the website, and I'm coming up to my next giveaway, which is the Considering Homeschool Info Pack. And this is through the Old Schoolhouse. This is a pack of I think there's at least 50 free ebooks in it. There's new ideas. There's encouragement on how to start homeschooling. There's ideas about different products, different methods of homeschooling, because it's just overwhelming looking at the different methods even. So we are going to be giving away this informational packet tonight. So to be eligible, please comments. Yeah, I wish that had been around when I started 24 years ago.
Yeah, that would have been great.
I know. And it's really great that they compiled it all together like that as a pack. So, yeah. And there's
make sure you tell us if you're here.
Yes, please tell us, guys. And the crew did review that as well. And you can see that link in the comments. And they loved it. It's just such a great way to expose those new to homeschooling to how to do it, because it can be overwhelming.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So now we're talked about how you encourage, yourself, but I know the kids get discouraged too. Do you guys have anything or any just tips for when your kids are getting discouraged?
Is bribery the wrong answer?
Whatever works.
Sour keys, is that not the right answer?
Like M&Ms on each math problem.
Yeah.
I've done that before. Yes.
We have those days, right?
Right. Sometimes you just have to say, we just need a day off and just take a break. And that's the neat thing, is we don't have to do school on a particular day. You can, if your kids aren't learning by sitting down in front of books, they can still learn. You can take them to the grocery store. You can take them to the zoo. You can, wherever you go, whatever you're doing, your kids can still learn.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of those lessons are more important than what they're going to get in a book.
Yeah, I've had people say to me, like, what do I do when my kid, I can't get my kid to finish, to write these 4 pages, and I need him to do this today and write these 4 pages. And I say to them, you know what, does it have to be done today? It's one thing if they're, misbehaving, but maybe they're having one of those days where their mental capacity we have those days, right? Where you're like, I just can't focus today. And I think it's important to kind of put our minds in the minds of our children and where they're maybe at that day. And, grant them grace, just like we want people to grant us a little grace just on those hard days, right? And because we homeschool, we have that flexibility. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. That's one of the amazing benefits, is just, okay, today's a crazy day. Everybody needs a break. Yes, exactly. No, Patty, I see you too. I don't want to write 4 pages. And going outside, taking a hike, changing up the scenery. Those are all just good ways where we know as a parent when our kids are just reaching that point of this is too much, to step back and let's go for a walk. Let's go do this over here. It's just changing it up. So I know with my older kids, I would sometimes write them little notes on a sticky note, and kind of put it on the inside of their book. Just maybe encouraging or something, for the older kids, because they're like, oh, you want to go to the park? Not really. But just to give them that sense of, I'm thinking about you, I'm praying for you, because school is tough, and we need a lot of grace as parents, and we need to give that to our kids too, and give them a day off every now and then. Yeah.
And something else I've learned over the years is the attitude in the home, the atmosphere that we can control. If we're having a bad day and we're taking it out on our kids, easily frustrated with them or whatever, they're going to pick that up. And if we are saying things like, "Oh, I can't homeschool you anymore," that they're going to pick that up and pick up that frustration. And then also who you let your kids be around. If their friends are bashing homeschooling,
yes, that's a good point.
Or if they just have, even if they're kids who are homeschooled, but they just have negative attitudes, they're going to pick that attitude up. So, watch your friends. We need to do that as adults too, because we pick up if we have negative friends that talk negative about,
it's discouraging.
Yeah.
It's not good for them or us.
It brings us down. So
yeah.
What's funny? One of the easiest ways to get my kids to be more happy about doing school is letting them pick where we do it. It sounds so simple, but like yesterday they decided they didn't feel like doing schoolwork. And I was like, well, where do you want to do it? Can we do it on the living room carpet? Yeah, like, I don't care. They were so excited. They're like down there with the dogs on the floor, did all their schoolwork, great attitudes. I'm like, who knew? Just sitting on, it wasn't comfortable for me, but I don't even care. Like, they got it done. They didn't complain. They were happy. And all we did was shift from the kitchen table to the living room floor.
That is
take them outside, and spread out a blanket on the grass. And if it's a pretty day,
yes.
We can do school anywhere. I gave up. I had my perfect little classroom, with posters and everything, and I gave up on that. They just kind of wherever they usually want to study somewhere different every day. It just changes, and that's
because they can.
Right.
Exactly.
I
think we're definitely like, unless they're on the computer, like doing, because my kids are a little older, but I remember we were on the sofa and one kid would be upside down, trying to do their math things, just in it's hanging. And you have to kind of get away from that. Okay, we're all sitting at desks and, prim and proper. It's like, no, this is homeschooling. You can learn.
Yeah. Why you have to school your brain. Like you come from, I come from an education background. I used to work in schools. And so the first year or two I homeschooled, there was a lot of deschooling that had to go up here because it was like, no, when you're schooling, you sit at a desk and you school for 7 hours a day and you do math and then you move on to this and then you have a 20-minute break. And it was a process for me to let that go and be like, no, they're actually learning this way. It's okay to do things totally different. But
Exactly. Yeah, no. I love being able when my kids are starting to get a little bit crazy to introduce a game. And one of the things we love is math games. Oh my goodness. Because like I think, Crystal, you were saying, math is just your nemesis. As soon as you pull out a game and you're like, okay, we're going to make this into a game, it gets fun. And so I love trying to find different games, which leads me to my next giveaway. And I actually have one of the games with me, Math Sprint. It's a flashcard game. It's teaching a mental math, which is huge.
Oh,
I love this. And the company that produces this is called Byron's Games. The crew has done some reviews from them in the past. They've got lots and lots of fun stuff. So their son had to be in the hospital for a medical procedure over an extended period of time. And so they're trying to think of some fun things for him to do that were educational in the hospital. So they started creating these games. There's a continental race game. There's the math sprint game. There's a stationery kit, which was their kind of flagship product, because then he could write letters to people in the hospital. They have another game that is Maestro Mastery, which is about composers and instruments.
Cool.
And then recent ones, we just reviewed this. It's called the Family Journal. And it's a journal for your family where you can record memories. You can give yourself goals. You can talk about places where you can encourage one another and record memories. And it was such a neat, you think of a journal, but it was such a neat way to kind of refocus your family into encouraging one another, having goals. So Byron's Games is going to let the winner of this giveaway choose which product they would like out of those that I just described, which is so generous of them. So to be eligible. Don't forget to join in our conversation and comment. I know the Family Journal, Krista, was so neat, and I loved looking through that. So yeah, games are fun. Math games, those saved us in the early years. Just when you hand them another worksheet and they're just like, ah, and
eyes glaze over. Yeah.
Oh, totally. Pull the game out. Pull out some kind of game to help get those math facts going. So that
Even
really
for older kids, I have to share this. When I was in college, I was taking accounting, and like I said, math is my nemesis. And for whatever reason, I had thought that I was going to be an accountant. And so I'm taking this accounting course, and my eyes are glazing over literally every day. Even though we're talking about money, which I usually I can figure math facts out if I'm putting it into terms of dollars and cents. But I was just glazing over debits, credits, all that. And the teacher came up with this neat idea, and I learned so much that year. And he pulled out several Monopoly games, and he divided us up, the whole class up, into different groups. And over the next several weeks, we had an ongoing Monopoly game. And so we'd record where we left off, and we had ledgers, and we would have to record all our debits, credits, that type of thing. And I learned so much about accounting through playing Monopoly that I've done that with my own kids through the years.
That's very cool.
I love that. And I love that it's not just an afternoon, but it's like it's a continual game, because when you really do it for a long time, you start to see the patterns. Oh, I love that idea, Crystal.
That was so fun. I learned so much, and later I drew upon that, that experience with my own kids. And games you can teach your kids so much just through having, there's so many neat games out there for all ages, and you can learn so much. Even Scrabble.
Yes.
And the kids don't even know they're learning. They're just playing a game.
Yep.
Exactly. There's even ones like for phonics, for, letter recognition, and then sight words. There's so many games out there right now that it's really, really neat to be able to pull one of those things down when you're having a tough day. And then of course the kids just light up when you've got a game.
Yeah. Right. And it doesn't feel like learning, and I feel like that's a stress reliever. When you pull out a game, we're just going to have fun. And I'm one of those that has a really short attention span. And so to play Monopoly in its completion in one day would just drive me mad. But to play it over several days, hey, we're going to have this running game and play it over several days, something long like that. And I mean, that was so fun. And it just made it fun and non-stressful.
Yeah, I was going to say that's preferable, playing it over a few days, because that can be a long game.
Way long. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Especially if you've got someone that's like, nope, I'm going to get it all. We got to do this to the end. Exactly. Yes. I love the idea of doing that. Like even just a little bit, like a round every day or something. That is such a great idea.
That's super cool.
Yeah. Silly sentences. I haven't heard of that one, but it goes beyond math. Like it's even language arts and phonics and spelling.
Geography. Yeah.
Yeah. Geography. Yes, exactly. So yeah. So are you guys ready for next year with school, your curriculum choices?
Almost everything.
Okay.
I think I have one more order still headed my way, but I mean, we've just kind of carried on, but I'm still waiting for one more thing to arrive, and then we will be fully set.
Nice. Good. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, Crystal, go ahead.
I was going to say, I've been going through the schoolhouseteacherscom site, and I have a running list of links to different courses, for my kids that I want them to do. And now I've got to whittle it down.
Too much?
Yeah.
That is like the homeschool mom problem.
I love curriculum. There's just something that, you just start looking over curriculum. There's just something that is really exciting about that. My kids don't think that way, but
it's like Christmas when those boxes arrive. Like,
Yes, I miss that because my daughter's going to be a junior this year, and it's pretty when you get that last few years, and it's like we can't do much switching now. You need to kind of stick with this, and so we've already got it figured out. But I'm so excited. This next year, I've been asked to help in this homeschooling co-op in our church, and it's a ton of young families, and so I'm like, yes, I can do like little geography where we learn the states, and then I can do these fun little artsy things over here. And so I'm like in heaven again because I, like you, love that time of year. It's so fun when you're like trying to pick everything, and then you get the packages, and your kids are like, "Oh no, more school books!" But you're like, "Yay!"
I know. My kids are like, "I don't care," and I was like, "I do."
You're like, this is fun. Yeah, no, seriously, Danielle, schoolhouseteacherscom is a huge asset to your schooling. And I really encourage you guys to take a look at it. They have so many classes up there right now. It's so helpful.
And not only classes, but there's a lot of really helpful things on the website too, just like charts. Like even for us Canadians, I'll put in a Canadian plug. They even have like Canadian charts for our money because our money is different than your money.
Yes.
So just like easy printable charts. I think there's like a multiplication table on there. If you're into Latin, they have like Latin pages for that. They have so many extras on there that are besides just curriculum.
They even have menus. And they have the Smart Mama Planner.
Right.
They have ebooks covering everything. I even noticed that there's one covering adoption, and adoption's special to me because 3 of my kids are adopted.
Wow.
And they have an ebook covering adoption and homeschooling. And I have to say yes. if you have adopted, and I would say homeschool your child, because that is the best thing you're going to do for them. You can really bond with them because they're home with you. And so just putting that plug in. But yeah, there's so many neat things. I mean, the member benefits, you've got to check out the benefits tab. And if you're not a member, you got to join, because we got a lot of new things coming up too. So yeah.
Well, and Danielle just mentioned the recipes again. It was literally last year, and I was looking through it, and I thought, there's recipes on here, and I love to cook. So I like spent the afternoon just going down the list and like, ooh, this is a good idea, and bookmarking different ones. So it really has so many things beyond just classes on there. Yeah. And
there's stuff for moms too, like even gardening and herbs and things like that, like learning how to use those. Like there's more stuff than just for the kids, for sure.
Yes, for sure. Yes.
Devotionals. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah. And you can get lost on there. There's so many.
Yes,
you can.
Many times.
Yes, me too. I know. I was lost in the recipes for a while there.
I love that because it goes month by month, and it gives you all these different ideas. It's like you never have to be stumped for what you're going to cook for dinner.
Like it's 365 recipes up there. Exactly. Like it's not just a little handful of them, which that's where I don't like just being monotonous when we eat. So I love the variety and being able to see all those. Yeah, totally. Yeah. No, so now I'm going to talk about Homeschool in the Woods. Carolyn, this is such a fun company. Amy Pack is the owner. And have you guys ever heard of lap books?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
It's like a file folder, and you fold it, but then you fill it with all sorts of information, right? And just if you say a lap book, that could mean that you take like cardboard cutouts that you make yourself and you put the information in. Homeschool in the Woods has done all that prep for you. And
thank goodness.
It's all there. You just print it off, you cut it out, or have your child cut it out, and they go through and begin to put all this information into the lap book. It is so fun. My kids, every time we did a lap book, they would get so excited because then it's like, this is what they've learned in this file folder. They open it up, and you open this tab and find out information here. And then this tab tells you more here. So it's a lot of history. They also have lots of unit studies. They have timelines now, and the timelines have little figures.
I love timelines.
And just the visual of seeing the figures in history. So, and the crew has reviewed Homeschool in the Woods. We love them, and they are going to be giving away a product of your choice. So I'm so excited about that. So please comments. I know the lap books are amazing, Danielle. The time travelers are wonderful. They have tons of products, so you guys got to check them out.
I'm gonna have to check this out because this sounds really cool.
That sounds so fun. And what a neat way of documenting what you're doing, not just for, if you have to keep records for the school system, but for yourself. And you can go back and see what your kids have done over the years. And then you get to really see what they have accomplished.
Well, I know I have boxes like where I keep my kids' school stuff, and I kept for years their workbooks and everything, in case I needed to prove they were educated. And but the one thing, now that they're older, I'm like, we're getting rid of those. But the thing we kept were the lap books because they're small and they can open them up and they'll remember some of this stuff. Like, oh, I remember coloring that, or I remember filling that out. And so I love that they're just a sampling of the stuff they learned over the years, because we've been doing lap books since they were really little. And then what Homeschool in the Woods does all the legwork for you, and it's all figured out, and you just have to print it, cut it out, follow lesson plan, easy peasy.
And that's why I haven't done lap books, because I'm like, I'm not a crafty person. I am not a Pinterest mom. And I look at those and I was like, that looks like so much work for me. There's no way I can do it. So if it's already prepped and I just have to print,
it is. You just have to print.
Easy.
So easy. That's what makes them so popular, and we've loved them over the years. Yeah, I know exactly, Yvonne. It's so neat to keep them and look back over them. The kids love it, pulling them out. Yeah, so no, we've really enjoyed those, and just lap books in general are a great way to teach and make get your kids interested in what they're learning. It can be a dry subject when you're reading it in a book, but if they're filling something out or drawing a diagram of it, all that kind of stuff can go in a lap book, and it's such a great way to learn.
I'm definitely checking these guys out.
Yeah, good. So now you guys both school year round. What's a typical day like for you when you, like a typical school day? What's it like?
Crystal, go for it.
She keeps making you go first.
We're both talkers. Oh, gracious. It changes. I try to get into a routine, but I've got teenagers, so it's more when they're ready, because I have one that would easily sleep till noon, and even if I get him up before noon, he's not going to be mentally ready to do anything until at least noon. Noon after he's eaten, because he is a teenage boy, so he needs sustenance before he can learn. And my daughter, she gets up earlier, so they're kind of at that age. They're almost 17, so they kind of set the course, for their day, their routine, and then with their activities and stuff. So really what I love about homeschooling is it's so flexible, and every year it looks different. It just depends on what's going on with our family, what we're going through, if we're moving, so many different things. So our day just looks different, or whether the kids are wanting to study that day, or maybe I'm not. Sometimes I can't get focused for them to teach or to try to facilitate that. So some days we just have to say, okay, let's come up with a different plan other than this one that I usually try to lay it out. I'm pretty organized, but it usually doesn't go that way.
Totally. I totally get that. Yeah. No, we tried, and you have it like on this little schedule, and sometimes it'll kind of get loosely followed, and other times it's just, why did I even make that schedule? I think at one time somebody gave me the advice, don't do a daily schedule, do a weekly schedule. And I like that, because like some days you're doing science and they're like, let's keep going, Mom, or and so that's when you can just keep going instead of like, well, no, this was the day's assignment, we have to stop. And I liked that idea better. The other thing I do is I don't schedule out further than a couple of weeks because
there's no way.
Yeah, no, I usually sit down every couple of weeks and that, come up with, okay, this math page, this page in Bible, like that, but no more than that, because we usually don't keep the schedule as well as we should.
I usually just do a week out. Week out. And do it in pencil. Then when you can just like, oh, well, we didn't do that today, but we did twice as much of this. So
exactly.
And the difference is with mine is we start early. My kids are usually up 6 a.m., 6:30 in the morning, and they get up. Basically, they get up, They eat their breakfast. They want to eat right when they get up. And then it's like, let's dive into school. They want to be done by like 9, 10 a.m. so they can play the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So they have that motivation, which is great, but it's more like me. I'm like, got my coffee. I'm like, okay, let's read. Like, I'm not awake yet. So usually we start our day with a read aloud for half an hour because I need that time to drink my coffee.
To get away. Yeah.
Yeah. So we usually do our read aloud at like 7 in the morning, 7:30. Then we move into like our book work, our main curriculum. Then the kids have to do their own silent reading for half an hour afterwards, and then they're done and they can move on. Usually it's 2, maybe 3 hours, depending on how much like our unit study takes, but we're usually done by 10.
Wow. A great way to plan, we've got the link put up on our chat, is the Schoolhouse Smart Mama. I know, Crystal, you mentioned that earlier. It's so helpful. I love that planner. Yeah. You do need a plan. You need kind of a general, this is the direction that we're going, but it's that day in, day out that you have to also give yourself grace that you're not going to always every day do every single thing on there. But it is good to have a goal, and that planner is so helpful with that. And
speaking of planner, actually, another thing you get with schoolhouseteacherscom subscription is you get access to Apple Core, which is a really cool program where if you don't want to plan week by week, but you want to give yourself like a yearly goal of what you want to accomplish, or if your kid is in high school and you have to track their credits, that is included with Schoolhouse Teacher subscriptions. And it's a really nice way to organize per child what you plan to accomplish or what you've already covered, so you can keep track of it.
I've never heard of that.
It's very cool. If you're an organizational freak like me, it's lovely.
Okay, I don't know if I'm as much a freak as you are, but
I'm just kidding.
So
I embrace it.
Apple, you said it's Apple Core and it's on Schoolhouse Teachers. Okay, I need to check that out. No, yeah, you do have to have a goal, and especially when they get into high school, you gotta be able to fill out the transcripts and all that and know what you're doing. So yeah, that's a great resource.
Yeah, you've got to have balance because, you know, as they say, if you shoot at nothing, you'll surely hit it or something. I'm sure I totally messed that one up. But it's true. I mean, you need balance between, you know, I could easily get really over the top organized. When I first started, I had followed this one homeschool family, and bless their heart, they are super organized and amazing. But I could not do my schedule in 30-minute increments. I tried because I thought that's what we were supposed to do. And I was super organized, and I had done it in 30-minute increments, and we had dutifully changed after 30 minutes, but we might not be completely ready. Or if I didn't get started in time, my whole day was totally, chaotic and all that. And, you need a plan, but be flexible.
Yes.
Semper Gumby.
Yeah, totally.
Always flexible.
Exactly. It's a balance. It's such a balance because you do need those goals and the plan, but then you also need to understand things are going to come up. There's going to be a spill in the kitchen. There's just going to be all sorts of variables that you can't plan or predict. And so it's okay to not follow that schedule to the moment. Exactly.
The beauty of homeschooling, again, flexible.
That is why we are homeschooling. Exactly. So now, and this is perfect because we're going to be giving away a membership to schoolhouseteacherscom. I
love that graphic.
I know, it's so fun. It's an adventure. I love it. So yeah, we're going to be giving away a membership. There's so much there, you guys. You've heard us talking about it, the recipes and everything. So I'm really thrilled to give that away. And again, you need to be commenting in our chat to be eligible. And I'll just say again that we'll be tagging the winners tomorrow. And then when you're tagged, if you get tagged, which I hope some people do, then Sunday, we ask that by Sunday you let us know the information we need to get the giveaway products to you. So yeah, I am excited about this year. You guys are encouraging me, and our blog hop's coming, so that's going to give us some more encouragement, but I can't believe it's already the end of July.
And a lot of Americans start, I mean, obviously homeschoolers are different, but a lot of Americans start school in August, right? Whereas in Canada, we're not like that. So our school year ends in the regular school system at the end of June, and they don't start till the second week of September.
I love that. I like it. So when I was young, I was at a Christian school, we would go through like the second or third week of June and not start till after Labor Day. But now, and I don't know where you're at, Crystal, where they do, where you are, but in California here, I think they go back the second week of August.
Wow.
But they're done Memorial Day weekend. Like that's the traditional school. And I think most of the private schools follow that. But I never started before Labor Day, which is the first weekend in September, Carolyn. Yeah.
Right. Wow.
I need to look up exactly here because we've only been here for a few months. We moved here from South Carolina, so when my husband was stationed here. So I need to look that up. But when I was growing up, we never started until after Labor Day.
Right.
So I don't know. It seems like they start earlier and earlier.
But like, isn't it really hot in schools in August? Like, do they all have AC down there? What do you do? Like,
here they do, yeah, because it's like that's actually hotter. August can be hotter than July, at least where I am. It's totally hot. You would think they would save on electricity if they waited a month. Less air conditioning. I know. That doesn't make any sense to me. I know, and my kids love it because we'll be like, oh, they're back at school. We're hanging. We don't have school for a few more weeks. Yeah. So yeah, Washington, Labor Day ends mid-June, around Labor Day. So that's more kind of what I grew up, where it ends mid-June, starts after the first weekend in September. But yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, September 1st. See, so maybe it's a California thing. I'm so curious.
I know there are other states that start in August too, because I've seen a lot of my friends down there posting like, my kids are back to school next week, and I'm going, what? Like Georgia, I think one of my friends in Georgia, their kids are going back next week.
Interesting.
Everywhere we've lived, and we've lived a lot of different places, they've always started it in August. All the U.S. ones. So
interesting. Yeah. Well, we're homeschoolers. We can start whenever we want. So.
Yes, you can.
So I'm planning to go back after Labor Day. So, but then my two older start college. The junior colleges start like the third week in August. So the younger one might be okay. We need to get going, and she definitely is more motivated now because she sees how much she needs to get finished before she can graduate. So yeah, so we'll get started then.
And how do you guys do like your Christmas breaks and stuff? Do you stick to what the school systems do, or do you just do your own thing?
Kind of depends for me.
Depends on how you're feeling.
We tend to stick to it, but then we don't take a spring break at all because we do 4-H. And so the end of May is our county fair, and it's just completely nuts. And so we take off the last 2 weeks of May. And then we do school in June until like middle of June. Sometimes I even go into the end of June, depending on what she finished. But I tell her, she'll be like, oh, they're having spring break. And I'm like, don't worry, you're just coming into May. Remember, you get 2 weeks off. So, but that's the beauty. We can be flexible like that with it. How about you, Crystal?
It kind of depends because depending on if we decide to travel or if we're going to be more stuck at home. There's been years I've homeschooled up until close to Christmas, but we kind of would change direction, and we might do a unit study on Christ, and
or something,
or something surrounding different Christmas traditions and stuff like that.
I like that.
And you can find a lot of those resources on schoolhouseteacherscom. They really do have everything. I love it. But so it just kind of changes. So it depends. But we might have taken time off. We like to take vacation in the fall while everybody else is in school.
Yeah.
So we'll take our vacation then when the lines aren't so long and the weather's better and it's not
traveling off season. Another homeschool perk.
That is a huge perk. We never travel in the summer. We do it on the shoulder months, and the weather's better, right? Exactly. So no, we do the same. Yeah, I know. It's such a blessing to be able to say, no, we don't have to worry about school. Go where we want, when we want.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you guys travel often with your kids just for fun, or do you do it for, do you pull in like educational stuff like museums and things?
We do both. So we before all this happened. I mean, me being in Canada, we can't go as many places. We're like, I keep saying, it's not fair. America has all the tourist destinations. Like, you've got Hawaii, you've got Arizona, you've got all the theme parks, you've got New York. I'm like, where are we going to go? Like, Alberta? But yeah, so we usually try and do both. So when we travel, I always try and tie in an educational aspect to it. That being said, I don't make them do like worksheets.
Yeah.
Like if we were going to the Bahamas or something, they would learn about like the flag of the Bahamas and the history and all that, just because we can. And then it makes it more interesting for my kids anyways. Or maybe we'll learn before we go.
Yes.
So that when we do go, they really appreciate what they're seeing.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. No, we've done more kind of vacation-ish things in warm places. So one of the things I've loved to have done is gone back east with them and done some of the, like, just going up and down the eastern seaboard with them.
I would love to do that.
I know. I would love that. No, our happy place is the beach. That is, and so there's not many museums, but you can do a lot of fun stuff when they're young with like you say, like doing some activities before you go about what kind of things you're going to see. And there's so many places where you can just kind of just turn that little light bulb on. And even though you're having a good time, turn it into a learning moment. So yeah.
We did one trip where we did, speaking of Alberta, since someone said, hey, yes, Alberta's lovely. We did a road trip to Alberta through the Rocky Mountains, and there's a great dinosaur museum there. So we took that opportunity to learn all about dinosaurs, and then we went to the museum and they saw the real dinosaur bones. So that's like the perfect homeschooler field trip right there.
That's awesome. That's so neat. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's been tough with what's going on for us to even travel here in the States too. So, but there's definitely places that we can go, and it's just so nice to take that break. And I think it's important we have that mindset too. Like maybe we have that mindset of, okay, we're having, fun time with our families, but let's also find those little educational tidbits here and there, to teach them as you travel. So,
well, even as you're out and about, you can teach manners and culture. And there's so many things, like when we were stationed in Hawaii, that was like a 2-year-long field trip for us. It was amazing. So we got to learn that they actually have kind of their own language, and the kids got to learn about the state and about their royalty before they became a state of part of the United States.
The history, yes.
Yeah, it's
Hawaii has super cool culture.
Yes, and the history is so fascinating. Oh my goodness, how neat to have lived in Hawaii for 2 years.
You've got Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, for sure. My husband's a history buff, so he loved that, especially World War II. So we know about all there is to know about World War II now.
That's very cool. That is so exciting. I know we have some history. We have the gold rush that happened near us, which is kind of
studying that right now, Charlotte. Right now.
Visit me, Caroline. Oh, well, not now.
We just need to open the borders, and I am there.
There we go. There, because Sutter's Mill or Sutter's Fort was where Sutter was, but Sutter's Mill is only like about 35 minutes from us, and so it's actually where John Marshall found the first little gold nugget.
Cool. I know
it's really neat. So with all my kids, we would take them there, and then we have and we actually have like little gold pieces that were found during that time at the California Railroad Museum in Sacramento. And so that's really neat to see as well. So no, it's neat to learn about your state and then go to those places where you can actually just see what you read about. Yeah, that's
really,
for sure.
We're so rich in history, and every state in the union and every country, there's so many things. And we tend to get a mindset, just like we get our mindset of school has to be desks and school books and all this stuff. We kind of do that with history too, and or with travel, and think that, well, we got to go to the touristy places. But the places that are going to be so rich in history are the places that, the little nuggets of things you might find along the way that maybe isn't a huge tourist destination, but it's like there's this place in Kansas close to my hometown. It's actually Little House on the Prairie. That's just like 30 minutes from where I grew up, but most people don't go to that one, but it's a nice little kind of out in the country, and it has the little log house like what she talks about in her books, and And it's supposedly near where she actually lived for a while when she lived in Kansas, and along the Verdigris River. Saying that like Mr. Edwards said. But it's one of those things that unless you're from that area, you probably haven't heard about it.
Right.
That is so neat. Oh my, we love Little House on the Prairie. That would have been another fun place to go, is to see some of those places that she talked about, like the Verdigris River. Oh, that is really neat, Crystal. Oh.
There's so much to see in so little time. That's the problem.
Exactly. I feel
like I've lost a year and a half now, so we've got to make up for lost time.
I know, we kind of do. We do need to make up for lost time. So, well, ladies, this was lots of fun. I had so much fun getting to know you guys better, and I just wish I could meet you for coffee next week.
One day, we'll make it happen. One day.
Yes.
Have a reunion.
Yeah,
cool.
It was very encouraging. You guys were very encouraging to me, and I really appreciate you both being here and sharing all this information. And
big thanks to everyone who commented and who joined us.
Yes, I'm excited. We had so many people commenting, and I'm super excited about the giveaways. And everybody, just don't forget, in April or August, our Homeschool Review Crew at homeschoolreviewcrew.com is having their Not Back to School blog hop, and we'll be sharing all sorts of things about how we do our own traditions, what a day looks like in our homeschooling, encouragement, and so much more. So please check that out. So, ladies, have a wonderful evening, and thank you so much.
All right. God bless.
Have a good night, guys.
Good night.